Friends, Blackmoorians, countrymen, lend me your ear. I come not to talk about the illustrious King Uther, but instead of his stalwart companions, the few who stood against the many and the power of the Chthonian Empire. Comprised of the barons of the north, alongside noble and loyal common adventurers, these men and women ensured the independence of Blackmoor and held it against all invaders from every direction. They drove back the Egg of Kut in the north, the Afridi invaders to the west, defeated the Skandaharian raiders in the eastern seas, and have held against the worst Chthonians could muster in the south. They are battle-hardened and fire-forged companions, loyal to their king and each other. All of them bring a unique strength to the region, traits that ensure Blackmoor will last another 1,000 years. Welcome to Mystara. I'm Mr. Welch, and for him today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. The king's companions were brought together by King Uther in the Northern Rebellion against Emperor Ix of Chthoniya. Ix was apathetic to the approaching Afridi Empire and then jealous of Baron Uther's brilliant defense of the north. While pursuing a vain attempt at diplomacy with the fanatical Afridi, the northern reaches would have none of it and crush the empire at the Battle of Lakes. Ix, incensed at the unauthorized battle, demanded Uther be brought back in chains. The emperor might have been more than just a bit jealous that Uther was a better ruler, warrior, and leader by a large margin. The north refused to turn him over, and after Ix executed a messenger sent to de-escalate the situation, the Northern Rebellion erupted in an unstoppable fury. It's time to meet the people responsible for liberating Blackmoor from the most powerful empire in Mystara at the time. Bascom Ungalan, Baron of Glendower, is known as the Shield of the North. He was the first noble to swear loyalty to King Uther and held the line against the strongest attacks from both Chthoniya and the Egg of Kut. He has faced numerous challenges and has driven back all who threaten his realm in Blackmoor. He is renowned for his almost inhuman endurance. This is the guy that stops the music when he enters the room. First he was cursed with lycanthropy, but he countered it with a magical ring. Then they sent assassins, and then they put up a now hiring sign looking for more assassins. Finally they kidnapped his wife, and this led to his downfall. He left to rescue her from the Egg of Kut and was never heard from again. There have been numerous impostors posing as Baron Ungalan, but all have failed in their attempt to assume his title. He has a distinctive look and speaks more than a few languages, making impersonating him quite difficult. Plus, the king can always ask questions of his old vassal only they would know. The sentence for impersonating Baron Ungalan is now death, which has reduced the number of false claimants greatly. The king would be willing to reward anyone who rescued the Baron with just about anything they desire, but he knows the odds of Ungalan being alive diminish with every passing day. Fletcher William, aka The Fetch, is Uther's spy master and has been the subject of his own video previously. He isn't a noble or an adventurer like the other, but he is vital to the survival of the Kingdom of Blackmoor. He's the definition of competent, with an extensive network of agents all answering to him. He's one of the king's most trusted advisors, though no one outside the king's companion knows William's actual identity. To everyone, he is a member of the staff of the University of Blackmoor, and not even a high-ranking one. He doesn't look the part, being an elderly man walking with a cane. He feigns weakness and hides his sharp intellect behind a mask of normality. He's just a face in the crowd to anyone looking for this master spy. The Fetch employs a massive number of agents found across the region, including every nation hostile to Blackmoor. There's a price on his head from all the nation's enemies, but no one even knows who they're looking for. That's part of his genius. He's even managed to eliminate rival spies by framing them in the eyes of the other rival spies. Garamond Bolitho is the Bishop of Blackmoor, one of Uther's oldest allies and second only to the king in terms of power. He was the man who crowned Uther king. He used his tremendous political power to prevent the Church of Chthoniya from denouncing the rebellion and assured the loyalty of the population with their new king. During Uther's disappearance in the events of Adventures in Blackmoor, it was he, along with the great Sven, who kept Uther from being replaced in his absence. He is beloved by the common people of Blackmoor and by extension ensures the popularity of Uther. Bolitho has little in the way of personal wealth, though the church would provide him with anything he needs. He commands a small army of the faithful, who are always ready if King Uther has the need for them. Bolitho has possession of a powerful enchanted longsword called the White Sword, which he will bestow on any champion of the faith that is proven worthy, at least for a while. He serves as King Uther's closest advisor and has enough sway that the other companions will think long and hard before disagreeing with him. Fortunately, Bolitho has little personal ambition. He's already the head of the church, so he has all he needs. He has sworn himself to Uther, and he will not break that oath. The great Sven is the Baron of Newgate, and possibly the greatest name in all of Dungeons & Dragons. This guy is a legend in Blackmoor, a simple peasant who was rewarded with nobility after countless battles and adventure. He is another one of Uther's closest allies and the most powerful of all the northern barons. He has been declared the champion of the faith by Bishop Bolitho, something Sven takes seriously. He made quite a few enemies in his day, and a few of them somehow are still alive. The number of orc dead by his hands number in the thousands, including the greatest of all orcs, King Funk. Man, Dave Arneson knew how to give his people awesome names. Svenny's one vice is his love of fine jewelry. This guy is decked out head to toe in jewels. He just loves his sparkles. And before anybody gets any ideas about stealing from him, remember he's killed more people than his barony's population. He's also got an 18 in intelligence, and he will know it was you. He has a very large bounty placed on his head by the Egg of Kut, which might be a ploy to remove the lower IQ members of the Egg's forces, as no one yet has come close to claiming it. The Peshwan na Shepro is the Baron of Dragonia, and one of the greatest horsemen in Blackmoor. He grew up in the savage lands of the Peshwa, where he was adopted into the Bortai, the fiercest of all the tribes there. They gave him the title of na Shepro, meaning person named Shepro. This gives him a status in their lands. This is not an honor bestowed normally on outsiders. He fought like a demon in the Northern Rebellion, and as a result, Uther created the Baron of Dragonia specifically for Shepro. It was a rather strategic move, as this area is bordered by the Bortai clan, who enjoyed peaceful relations with Peshwan na Shepro, as he is the only outsider they really trust. The Bortai are allied with Dragonia, not Blackmoor, but it serves the same purpose. Few people are willing to test the Bortai, so Dragonia enjoys a bit of safety from foreign attack, unlike other regions. Shepro isn't as close to Uther as other companions, but he understands his task and is more than willing to wage war in Uther's name again if asked. Philo Holbiton, the sheriff of Ramshead, has retired from adventuring and ruling, but was a critical player during the rebellion. He served as one of the scout commanders and spy masters for Uther, banking on how Ix overlooked the hen. His gamble paid off, as the Thonians didn't see the halflings as active participants in the conflict, allowing Holbiton to relay all sorts of vital information back to Uther undisturbed. The Fetch used these observations to a devastating effect, and that would give the rebels an advantage that would prove overwhelming during the course of the war. Holbiton has withdrawn from public life, stating health issues. There is a standing offer of a place by Uther's side on the council if the halfling ever changes his mind, but he says he's happy retiring in his hearth by a warm fire. In reality, he was placed under a Gesh spell that drains away his health every year that he doesn't fulfill the requirements. Those would be the utter betrayal of Uther and the destruction of Blackmoor, something Philo obviously doesn't want. So he is sacrificing himself rather than giving in to the demands of the spell. The wizard that inflicted the curse upon him is now a high-level lich in the employ of the Egg of Kut, so removing the Gesh is almost impossible. If you want to make a high-level companion for life, you know what to do. Rissa Aelford, the Baroness of the Lakes, is the only member of Uther's council that isn't one of the king's companions. Instead, it was her late father that held the position and fought by Uther's side in the first defeat of the Afridi. Since Han Aelford died fighting the Thonians, Rissa has stepped up and become one of Uther's staunchest supporters. She is known for being gruff and forward, cutting her hair short, and being bluntly honest in her opinions. Several of the northern lords don't care for her attitude, but Uther and Svenny see much of her father in her, and this includes her personality. Rissa's mother died in childbirth, leaving her father to raise her the best he could. She learned everything the elder Aelford could teach, which was mostly how to hurt people and lead knights into battle. When he died, the great Svenny took over the role of her regent and tutor. He proved to be capable at both tasks, much to the surprise of everyone, especially Svenny. She is loyal to Uther, but she hero worships Svenny. King Uther has taken great care to give Rissa everything she needs to succeed in the Barony of the Lakes, as she has to deal with numerous enemies on the border. In canon, she will soon be Queen Rissa, as Uther's attention is more than just a king's duty. Sonus, the Wizard of the Wood, is one of the pricklier members of Uther's council, and easily the least liked among all the other companions. Only the fact that Sonus is a powerful wizard, and more importantly, on great terms with the elves, keeps him in Uther's inner circle. His castle is strategically located, his spells have routed entire armies that approached, and he makes many of his magics publicly available at the University of Blackmoor. Uther might not like Sonus, but he needs him. The wizard's greatest secret is that he doesn't want to be a wizard. He wants to be up close and personal with his enemies. He wants to charge into battle wearing full plate and cleaving his foes with a great axe. Sonus would love to be knee-deep in Thonia blood, wiping their gore and viscera from his eyes as he watches them flee the field in terror. In reality, the wizard is far too frail and far better at casting spells than swinging a great axe. This annoys him greatly, but it doesn't stop him from dressing up in the magical plate mail he has acquired and working out all of his frustrations on a target dummy with the largest axe Sonus could find. Wolper Gannet is the Baron of Arklis, and surprisingly one of Uther's favorite advisors, despite being the most critical of his plans. Wolper loves Blackmoor above all and is distrustful of the king's reforms. This has made him very good at finding plausible flaws in all the changes suggested by Uther and his companions. If Gannett raises an objection, Uther will look over the proposal again to see if the complaints bear any merit. This has caught several errors in previous plans. Gannett, despite his constant complaining, is utterly loyal to Uther. He just prefers doing things the old way. He has lost 2 sons defending the nation, and he has fought on the side of Uther during the rebellion. He might not like change, but as long as the king listens to his complaints, the elder baron will back him, hell or high water. Those are the king's companions, a motley bunch of powerhouses, loyalists, and grumblers. 201, they are sworn to protect Uther and by extension Blackmoor, and they make for some great NPCs for your adventures. Next up, I'm going to try to salvage one of Mystara's most interesting yet bare-bones creatures, the Stalwarts. Those athletic-obsessed humanoids, who are just given a paragraph of description in their entry. Until next time, and for their sake, in your fair minds, let this acceptance take.